In an exclusive interview, the mother of murdered soldier Lee Rigby tells this programme the Ministry of Defence have failed to support her family. Lyn Rigby says only her son's next of kin, his partner, received help and, quote, the main charities didn't want to know. She says the recent terror attacks in London and Manchester have brought everything back of the horror of her son's murder. The Manchester attack, in which 22 people were killed by a suicide bomber, happened on the 4th anniversary of Lee Rigby's killing. Lee, a soldier, had been walking near to his barracks in South London when he was brutally attacked and murdered by two extremists. It was an assault that shocked the nation. After the death of their son, Lyn and Ian, Lee's stepfather, set up a charity in their son's name. They're now in the process of renovating a house on the grounds of a country estate in Staffordshire, which will be a retreat for the families of soldiers who are killed serving their country. We'll be hearing from Lyn in just a moment, but first our reporter Dan Clark-Neil went and had a look round the retreat with her.
It's so peaceful here. You've got the sound of water, you know, in the fountains and everything, and the grounds are just amazing. You know, it's so relaxing.
On the 22nd of May 2013, a British soldier was attacked and killed by extremists on the streets of London. His name was Lee Rigby. He was 25. 4 years on, Lee Rigby's mum, Lyn, runs a charity set up in her son's memory.
All coming along now.
The Lee Rigby Foundation has been given this house on the grounds of a country estate. Lee Rigby House will provide an escape for families whose loved ones have been killed while serving their country. Lyn says she wants to offer more support for the families of bereaved soldiers because of the lack of support on offer for her own family when Lee died.
So this is the kitchen, which we have, you know, a few of the veterans working on at the minute.
Military veterans and friends have been giving up their spare time to get the house ready.
So how much of a help have the veterans been to you?
They've been absolutely amazing. You know, I can't thank them enough. They will be using this as well, you know, so they're just trying to give something back, I think.
Lee Rigby House will have the space for two families to stay at the same time, and there are plans to open another house for veterans too.
This is another living room.
And what would it have meant for you to have had someone like this to come after what happened with Lee?
It'd have meant the world, really. I mean, we had so much press, media, you know, outside the door, and we couldn't get together as a family, you know, we couldn't grieve together as a family. No one would, you know, none of the charities really wanted to get involved with us and, you know, get us away to somewhere quiet, you know, where we can grieve as a family together. And, you know, there's a lot of parents and siblings out there that are going through the same as us, that are struggling.
We were all ex-vets and we were in the exact same battalion as Lee. And I'm in the Regimental Association, and that's how it all came about. And they was asking, would anybody like to volunteer? And I thought, why not? Because it's brotherhood at the end of the day. And we decided, yeah, we'll try and do what I can, when I can.
And how would you describe Lyn as a person and her work with the project?
Oh, it's fantastic. The way she's coped. And when we first started, it seemed like nothing was getting done, but she thought, I think it'll get there, I think it'll get there.
The bereaved families will also have full use of the estate's beautiful grounds.
Lee wouldn't want me to sit at home, you know, crying, getting upset and doing nothing. You know, he always said he wanted to be famous. He was famous for the wrong reason. I'll be so proud, and I hope Lee will be proud up there at what we're doing as well. Yeah.
I'm sure he will be, Lyn. I really am.
Thank you.
Right. What are you thinking?
It's just losing Lee, innit, you know, I think the reality sits in that he's not actually going to come back. You know, we're doing this for Lee, to help the vulnerable and those who need it. because we miss him so much every single day.
On the 4th anniversary of Lee's death, terror struck again. This time, it was Manchester, where Lyn and her family live.
We'd been out as a family, we'd been to the grave, we set balloons off, we went for a meal, we sat at home, we was having a drink to celebrate, you know, Lee's life. And my daughter Courtney came and told us that there'd been a bombing in Manchester, and I just fell onto the settee. I was so heartbroken, especially it being on Lee's anniversary and it being children. You know, there's so many parents there that has left now without their children, and we'll be feeling how we feel and having to go through what we've been through. And all I can do is send our sincere condolences to all the families and all the victims, and hope they have a speedy recovery. I can't wait to get the house open now. I want to get them families in here and feel how I feel now, and I'll be proud once it's open and I can actually see people using the house, the Lee Rigby house. You know, that would be my dream, to keep Lee's legacy alive.
Well, Lyn is here with one of Lee's sisters, 16-year-old Courtney, in her first TV interview. Good morning to you both. Thank you very much for coming on the programme. I'll read this straight away. This is from Julie, who is watching the film. It is fabulous that the Lee Rigby retreat is happening. What a fantastic memorial to him. Yeah. So there's real support out there, which is amazing. Yeah. I think many people will be very surprised to hear you say you don't feel you've had the support from the Ministry of Defence.
No, we never got the support. We was classed as a non-dependent family of Lee's, so we wasn't classed as Lee's family. The next of kin gets looked after, you know, they get the support and everything else. There's not only us there, there's a lot of other military bereaved families and the siblings, you know, that don't receive the help.
What kind of support might you have been expecting?
Well, you know, I mean, it's just make a phone call, making sure we're okay, you know, counselling side of it. We never got the counselling, we got that from actually victim support. And as like you say, with the bombings and everything, and, you know, that's the terror attacks that have gone on, that's, you know, it's horrific, and it just brings it all back, you know. So
as the mum and as the sister of Lee Rigby, none of you were offered counselling via the Ministry of Defence? No, no. It was all done through victim support. Right. And what do you think of that?
I think it's pretty disgusting. I mean, there's a lot of mums and dads and the siblings that are still out there that have lost loved ones in Iraq or Afghanistan that still don't get the support, and they still don't get counselling. I mean, we was lucky in a way because we did get the little bit of support up to Lee's funeral.
From the MOD, you mean?
Yeah, but after the funeral, you know, we got nothing. No phone calls after that.
And how are you, Courtney?
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I know when the Manchester terrorist attack happened, that was on the 4th anniversary of Lee's killing. That had a real impact on you all, didn't it?
Yeah, with me, you know, it brought us straight back down to the first day Lee had died.
Did it
you know, it's just all the horrific circumstances, you know, and it was children at the end of the day. The target was on children. I've lost my child, so my heart just went out to all the other parents, and, you know, looking for their children and partners, and it was horrific, you know, it was a coward's attack. It was horrible.
People may not have realised that it was something like 12, 13 hours before you realised that your son was the victim of that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, there was mums out there appealing after the bombings for, you know, help finding their children, hoping that they were safe, and we was in that situation as well, where it was 12 hours after Lee had been murdered before we even found out it was actually Lee, even though we knew deep down it was Lee. You know, to be actually told and have that knock on the door that it was Lee, you know, we just it was horrific.
And I know you've made contact and actually with one of the mums who lost a daughter, haven't you? Charlotte Campbell, who lost her daughter Olivia in the Manchester attack, and in fact you were at her funeral.
Yeah, we got when I saw Charlotte on TV, you know, pleading to help find her daughter, my heart just went for her. I could understand the situation she was in then, you know, to when we was with Lee, you know, having to wait, and it was 12, 13 hours afterwards before she found out, you know, that Olivia had actually passed away and been killed. And my heart just melted for her, you know. I just wanted to give her a hug, just to say, you know, I'm here for you, I know what you're going through. Because you don't know, people don't know what you're going through unless they've been through the same, you know. And so on a mutual friend knew Charlotte and Paul, so I asked them to contact them, and, you know, we went up and met them, took them some flowers and some gifts for the children. Well, they're not children, the adults, you know. Just something just to show that we know, and the girls bought something for their children. And then she invited us to the funeral, which was, you know, it was heartbreaking to see another mother going through, you know, what you're going through, having to lose a child. You know.
What did you think, Courtney, when you heard about the Manchester attack? Because you might have been at the arena, you've been there to gigs, haven't you?
I've been there so many times, and my first concert there, and a lot of them children were at their first concert, and knowing that 22 of them came out and it was their last concert, it's terrible, because I've left so many times without worry, and they tried doing the same and it didn't happen.
And what impact has that had on you in recent weeks?
I think it's made me a lot more aware of things and made me a bit more worried about going out and doing things than I would have been, because now I know there is the threat and it could happen to anyone, because that's what happened there.
Yeah. And have you been able to have some counselling?
I had it after Lee died, because I struggled with my anger a lot and I needed help with it because I couldn't cope with it. But after that, I felt like after the counselling she'd given me ways that I could handle it myself, so I didn't necessarily need it anymore, because even after them attacks I knew how to handle it because she'd helped me with it.
Right. What about financial support, again from the Ministry of Defence since Lee's murder?
We don't get any financial support from the MOD or anybody. All we live on is, you know, my husband's wages, which is not a lot. You know, we still have to pay bills, but as I said, that again, the next of kin gets the support.
Right.
You know, I asked for a T-shirt, I never got one because I wasn't next of kin. You know, and it's...
You mean one of his T-shirts?
Yeah, out of his barracks, you know, out of the room. But no, we don't get any support. I mean, we do struggle from day to day, you know, to put food in the kids' mouths, you know. Ian's not on a great amount of money.
That's your partner, Lee's stepdad?
Yeah. But no, we don't get no support at all, you know. We struggle from day to day, don't we? You know, sometimes I won't eat, and made sure that the girls and Ian eat, you know. People just don't realise, people think because Lee was murdered, you know, we're millionaires and we've got thousands in the bank and we've not got a penny. You know, we're overdrawn like everybody else is. You know, we eat from day to day what we can. You know, it's a long, hard struggle. And this is where I think that they're letting us down, you know, because we have to try and carry on with our lives, and it's struggling through it as well, you know.
And sometimes you just, you have the beans on toast because there's not much else.
We have the beans on toast, or we have the sandwiches for Sunday dinner, you know. It's whatever we can get in, innit, at the time, and what's left. You know, because obviously Ian's on a monthly pay. He's been off the last 3 weeks because of the Manchester bombings. It took its toll on me again and on Ian. Really? You know, his health deteriorated a bit, so the doctor signed him off. He's on monthly pay and he only got half his wage, you know, which went straight out on bills, because you still have to pay your rent. You've got to keep a roof over your head, you know, and at the end of the day, you've just got to borrow off family to survive. Yeah.
Did you get a call from the MOD on the after the Manchester attacks, which was the 4th anniversary of Lee?
No, we've had nothing. We really did think we would get a phone call just to make sure that we was okay, you know. But we've had no contact with the MOD really for, well, since after the funeral. Only if we've ever phoned them for anything, which is not very often, hardly at all. But
I have a statement from the MOD. A spokesperson said, "We do our utmost to support armed forces families that have lost loved ones, providing trained visiting officers who offer guidance on accessing help, as well as a range of support from individual regiments, including financial aid. Our thoughts remain with the family and friends of drummer Lee Rigby."
no, we don't. We had an army liaison officer for 3 months after Lee died, but as I said, after the funeral, you know, we've had no support from him since. We don't get any financial support from anybody.
What do you think about that, Courtney?
I think they should support everyone instead of just focusing on the next of kin, because even though there is other people and it's not just the family, we are still here and we were with him for all of his life. So to be left like we never even knew him and we weren't related to him, it's wrong.
Heartbreaking, isn't it? It's, you know, to be classed, I mean, to carry Lee for 9 months and to have him for 25 years, you know, and you're being told directly, you know, you're not Lee's family. I mean, all the parents want is the respect that they was our sons and daughters that have been lost, you know, and because we don't. I mean, we've got a lady, Carol Jones, that's been fighting for the Elizabeth Cross, that the next of kin get, you know, when they lose the partners in circumstances, but yet again the parents don't, you know, and they don't cost much to make, it's pennies, but why not give the respect to the parents as well, you know, and offer us something. I mean, we get a scroll with Lee's name on, that was it, that's all we've got, you know.
Wow, I think people will be really taken aback. I want to ask you, you may have seen reports that one of the men responsible for your son's murder, Michael Adebolajo, is now considered to be one of the most dangerous men in a British jail, and he's said to be radicalising inmates at Franklin Prison in Durham. Prison staff say they lack the resources to adequately monitor the situation. What do you think of that?
It's disgusting. Not only has he already caused pain to people, but now that he's been put away for it and he didn't get it the way he wanted, he's trying to cause further pain to more people in the country. It's just not right.
Let me read some messages I have for you both from people who are watching you. Dan Morgan says, "Well done to Lee Rigby's family for setting up a place for veterans and families to visit. Gone but not forgotten, R.I.P. brother." Time Eye says, "Lee Rigby will never be forgotten." Roger Watts has emailed to say, "Nearly 4 years ago, my 30-year-old son took his own life. Everyone must let parents talk, cry and even scream about the loss of their child. And if the MOD gave Mrs. Rigby little help, then that is unforgivable." Elliot tweets this, "Very, very true that veterans are left by the wayside a lot. They end up homeless, unable to maintain family and personal life. Big Shinner on Twitter, "Someone start a fund up for Lee Rigby's mum and family. She said they sometimes have sandwiches for Sunday dinner. She's had no support." Simon tweets this, "How can families of heroes be treated so shabbily?" Gavin, "A disgrace that the MOD is not supporting you, Lyn, but I can assure you that this nation does. Lee will never be forgotten."
Excellent.
We've seen the film of the house, the retreat that you're offering for the relatives of those who lose someone serving for their country. But I think you have bigger ambitions than that, don't you?
I mean, mainly the house is for the bereaved parents and the siblings, you know, because people don't involve the siblings. And then we've got like an annex that we want to do for the veterans. We've had veterans down there because we want them involved. We want them to design it how they want it laying out. And then the Project 3 is a massive one, which again is on the estate, but the building's been empty for 12 years, you know, the outside's fine, the inside, you know, so we need the help out there. I mean, there was a message went out this weekend and it went viral, and we've been inundated with calls. It's been overwhelming. We can't thank people enough. You know, at the end of the day, for people to offer the support to help us do this and finish this for Lee as a legacy, you know, and we will get back to him all. We've had over 4,000 messages, you know, so we are getting back to him, and we do thank him. But we do need the help. Keep coming forward to help us get this going. And obviously online donations, if they go to the Lee Rigby Foundation, there's a donate button on there, you know, because we're solely run on donated funds, you know. So, well, yeah, but I'm quite excited. I'm just waiting for it to get open now. You know.
And that will be a remarkable achievement.
It'll be a lasting
testament
legacy,
to you. Testament to you as a family, you know.
Yeah, it's a lasting legacy.
Thank you very much, both of you. Thanks for coming on the programme.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lyn. Thank you very much, Courtney. Thank you.
Thank you.